it's quite funny how anytime Davido and Chioma tries to separate away from a lot of controversies and of course social media drama, all the time also it has to be with the fact that Davido's baby mom is always trying to bring up some interesting allegations. Well, this time Sophia, a lot of people like to call her baby mama number one, but unfortunately she is still a baby mama to Davido. Now she is back this time attacking Davido and calling him names, not just that, bringing out evidences after he apparently sued for joint custody of their child, I think a lot of people call her Imad or Imade, but the name is Imade. Well, so she apparently is back and says that no, she is not ready to have a joint custody with Davido, but unfortunately also she didn't end there. She went to hit Davido hard at where he apparently will be hit most. So in a recent, file and court proceedings, apparently Davido had wanted a joint custody because, according to him, he hasn't been able to get into contact with his child for a very long time and wanted to seek some joint custody between herself and the child. But unfortunately Sophia hit back and said, no judge, I don't want to have a joint custody with this man. And she went on to cite some interesting reasons. Now the first reason she gave was the fact that Davido himself is an artist, and the fact that he's always traveling, and obviously it tends to be that he cannot have eyes or cannot even watch over the child, and so the judge should dismiss that part of Davido wanting to have custody of the child. Now she goes on to say that another reason she cannot be able to give or have joint custody with Davido is the fact that anytime she tries to send the child to Davido, Davido requests for a sensual, well, I don't want to use any word that actually would sound quite, but she wants on to say that that Davido always requests for some intimacy between the two, and she feels it's inappropriate. That is point number two. Now the most disheartening part a lot of people on social media find quite disgusting is the fact that Sophia had to bring in, the late 3-year-old Ifeanyi is dead in the picture, where she apparently reminded the whole public that it was out of Davido and Chioma's negligence that made or caused the death of their 3-year-old son. And so the judge or the judges apparently should watch over these cases and also not have Davido have part of the child into his house. Now, not just that alone, it has been a drama upon drama since these two have been having a banter on social media. Now, Davido, after seeing these, so after Sophia Momudu came out to accuse Davido of several allegations, it turns out to be that her uncle, who happens to be Chief Dele Momodu, also had a version of the story to tell on X, formerly Twitter. Guys, let's read exactly what Chief Dele Momodu had to say about this whole controversy. Now, in a series of tweets, he made it known, and it says, by Dele Momodu, last night I received a distressing message from Mr. David Adeleke, aka Davido. He was obviously devastated by the counter affidavit submitted in court earlier in the day, in the response to the affidavit seeking a joint custody of his daughter with my niece Sophia Momodu. I had seen Davido's affidavit about 2 weeks ago, and I was very surprised as Davido and I had spoken on a video call days earlier with him and also Pastor Toby, and he never told me he had any custody issues with my niece. So you can imagine my confusion to find out via social media and subsequently confirmed by my niece that he filed an action in court seeking joint custody of their daughter. During the referenced video call, we were all very excited about his forthcoming wedding ceremony, an event our family congratulated him about. Prior to this, David had told me he eventually spoke to their daughter after a long lull of about 2 years. He was very happy and excited, so I thought everything was settled and he and Sophia would now have the opportunity of taking maximum care of their daughter. I had offered special thanks to David's dad, Mr. Dr. Adedeji Adeleke, for his kindness and support for our daughter during the period of David's absence. I had also taken Sophia and their daughter to my very dear friend, Governor Ademola Adeleke, seeking his intervention. To the best of my knowledge, there was never a problem of joint custody. The issues were non-payment of school fees for several sessions, non-payment of accommodations and salaries of nanny. There was no car dedicated to David's daughter, and so on. Mercifully, I mentioned all to Dr. Adedeji Adeleke, and he responded positively like a true godfather. On the issue of non-payment of school fees, David's dad cleared everything and also set up payment of future bills. He gave his granddaughter a car to take her to school. The remaining issue was on accommodation. David's dad verbally offered, in his discussion with me, one of their family apartments in Oniru Estate, Victoria Island. However, maybe due to miscommunication, David's lawyer had communicated otherwise. After Sophia clarified for me, she politely declined the offer, and her reasons was tenable. In my view, because since she is not married to David, she can't be comfortable living in a place swarming with David's family members. She and daughter, she and her daughter had been living in Okoye before David and Sophia started their latest quarrel. Sophia's request was that David should pay half of the accommodation while she would pay the other half. David said he could only contribute 5 million naira annually. My opinion is that the absence of commerce between David and Sophia has caused this debacle. I have cautioned repeatedly that their daughter must not be allowed to suffer or be treated like a second-class child. David's global status makes this imperative. Sophia allowed David access to their daughter provided she has her nanny around 247. The 9-year-old herself made this request, and I believe this should be favorably considered and accepted. The grandniece had been released to go out with their cousin on several occasions. The governor's daughter, Nike, was at Sophia's house with the governor's grandson last Christmas, despite the fact that there wasn't ample notice and she still granted the access. Now, 2 months ago, the governor's son, Sena Rambo, requested a play date between these kids, and Sophia rented out a children's place in Victoria Island for them to spend hours together. The only time she couldn't join her father's family was when her daughter requested to go on vacation with her for 3 weeks last year. As the notice was too short, and Sophia also had already paid for their own trips due to lack of communication. So this was quite a lengthy tweet by Chief Dele Momudu, who opinionally went on X, formerly Twitter, to also give his version of the story about what he knows about this Davido and his niece Sophia's drama. Now, speaking about the house that Chief Dele Momudu mentioned, now this house apparently is meant for the child I made. And of course, apparently, even the money that Davido was supposed to have spent on the child eventually turns out to be the, well, insiders say that because of how, Sophia has friends, including the likes of Tiwa Savage and all of that. So she wants to be in a social class with, Tiwa Savage, but it's not working like that because a lot of people know Sophia to be just a socialite and she doesn't do anything. So fans are asking Sophia that why would she live in a rented house which costs probably about 25 million naira. Now, do the math and see. So it means that every month, Davido has to cough out about 5 million naira just to settle a payment of a house that she is renting. This actually doesn't make sense for a lot of people, especially from the camp of Davido. And some are saying that what exactly does or is Sophia seeking for? Is it that she actually cannot stand the fact that anytime Davido and Chioma are happy, or probably she has an interest? Well, she came out after a team member on Davido's camp also called her out and saying that she should shut up and stop dragging Davido's name in this. She also publicly recorded a conversation between herself and David's team member and said that, in fact, it was quite a messy video. I think a lot of people have most of you have seen that video where she plays a call from a team member of Davido, and she eventually was just speaking in mind. Now, she even alleged that for 3 solid years, Davido has not paid child support to iMade. Yes, Sophia made mention of that, and so she said she's not seeking for any money from Davido. No, she's not seeking any money for her personal gain, but for the fact that Davido, since 3 years now, has not done the needful for supporting your child, she actually does not find it necessary that the judge gives full custody or maybe a joint custody because she has been able to take care of the child for 3 years without Davido's support, and so she can do it by herself. But a lot of people are saying that Sophia needs to calm down and, of course, disassociate herself from friends like Tiwa Savage, because it turns out that Tiwa is giving her pressure and she actually wants to use Davido's money to also sponsor her lifestyle. Well, what do you also think about it? Leave it inside the comment section.